Proverbs 8 March 8. Guys, we're going through a proverb for every day in March so that by the end of the month, we'll have received all of the wisdom that the Proverbs have to offer. Now, guys, Proverbs 8 is absolute heater today. That's what we're on. I'm just stoked. We're just going to get right into it. And the title of Proverbs 8 in my Bible, it says, Wisdom calls for a hearing. Now, wisdom is personified again. It is often referred to as her. And it's just beautiful. And let's just get right into it. Verse 1, it says, Listen as wisdom calls out. So it's personifying wisdom right here. So listen as wisdom calls out. Hear as understanding raises her voice. On the hilltop, along the road, she takes her stand at the crossroad. By the gates at the entrance to the town, on the road leading in, she cries out, I call to you, all of you. I raise my voice to all people. You simple people, use good judgment. You foolish people, show some understanding. Listen to me, for I have important things to tell you. Everything that I say is right, for I speak the truth and detest every kind of deception. So what we see right here is wisdom being personified into a human-like idea so that we can understand it. It's as if we're conversing with wisdom right here. And wisdom is saying, I'm calling to you, all of you, every single human being. You can be wise. Just call on me, seek me, and you will be mine, or I will be yours. Wisdom goes to those who seek and find. It's for everyone. It raises my voice, or it raises its voice to everyone. And it says, just use good judgment. You simple people, just use good judgment. That is what wisdom is, good judgment. Now, continuing on, verse 8, it says, My advice is wholesome. I like that. There is nothing devious or crooked in it. My words are plain to anyone with understanding, clear to those with knowledge. Choose my instruction rather than silver, and knowledge rather than pure gold. For wisdom is far more valuable than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare to it. Whoa. That's a statement right there. This is saying wisdom is the most important thing that you can get in life. And what we're going to see later on is that wisdom is Jesus, which is so cool. So what we see here is Solomon is telling us that wisdom is the most valuable thing that you can have in life. It's saying in verse 11, it is far more valuable than rubies, and it's more valuable than silver and pure gold. Pursue wisdom and knowledge and insight and good common sense instead of these natural tangible things like silver and gold and rubies. And so that's what we see in verses 1 to 13. We've done 1 to 11 right here, but in 1 to 13 we see its wisdom is guiding us. We need wisdom is really, really good for us. Now, continuing on, verse 12, I, wisdom, live together with good judgment. I know where to discover knowledge and discernment. All who fear the Lord will hate evil. Therefore, I hate pride and arrogance, corruption and perverse speech. All right, time out again. I love verse 13. All who fear the Lord will hate evil. This has given us the okay right here to hate some things. And we hate evil. Now, this doesn't mean that we hate people because they have evil tendencies in us, because that would be a very hateful world, because every single one of us has evil exist in us in some capacity at some point in our lives. Now, this is a beautiful thing, though, because God is telling us that we should really hate evil in our lives. Hate pride, hate arrogance, hate corruption, hate perverse speech. These are things that I'm sure I'm sure you've had experience with. I know I've had experience with pride, for example. Pride just makes you feel worse. It's just a deep down, it's encoded in our DNA. These things, pride, arrogance, corruption, perverse, everything else that is evil as well. Just the Lord gives us the permission to hate evil. And it's saying those who fear the Lord, and again, fearing the Lord doesn't mean being scared and trembling of him. It's saying having a reverence and respect for him. So for those who genuinely desire and revere God Almighty, the awe-inspiring creator of the world, he's saying right here, hate what is evil, because what is evil is not of God. Now, we're created to serve and be with God, but we got separated by sin in the beginning, by evil. And now we can hate evil because evil is the absence of God. That is an okay thing. But again, don't take this and run with it and say, yo, you're a prideful person, so I'm going to hate you. You're arrogant, I hate you. Hate the pride, hate the arrogance, but love the person. Love the person that Jesus died for. Love the person that God created in his image. Because at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters. Now love the person and hate the evil. All right, continuing on, verses 14 to 21, we see that wisdom creates success. It is a direct correlation, it really appears that wisdom grants success. Now, all right, so verse 14, it says, common sense and success belong to me. Insight and strength are mine. Because of me, kings reign and rulers make just decrees. Rulers lead with my help and nobles make righteous judgments. Again, it's saying right here, these great righteous kings, these rulers that are making just decrees, rulers with my help, talking about wisdom again, nobles making righteous judgments. Again, these magnificent, these triumphant kingdoms and rulers that come up to power, wisdom is all there. Wisdom is there, succeeding and instilling and inspiring success into these kingdoms and these triumphs and these rulers. Continuing on, verse 17. I love all who love me. Those who search will surely find me. Verse 17 is telling us right here, you search, you will find. Jesus tells us that eventually as well. But if you search for wisdom, you will find it. And now it's not just going to happen like that. It's going to be a daily, diligent seeking. We've already covered that in the previous Proverbs. You got to daily and diligently seek for wisdom, but it will find you when you are finding it. Now, verse 18, I have riches and honor, as well as enduring wealth and justice. My gifts are better than gold, even the purest gold. My wage is better than sterling silver. I walk in righteousness and paths of justice. Those who love me inherit wealth. I will fill their treasuries. Wisdom blesses. When you have wisdom, you can do a lot of things. And then what we're about to find out is that wisdom is Jesus. So this is saying when you have Jesus, so many things unlock in your life, so many opportunities, so many doors. This allows you to see the opportunities and the doors that God is opening for us. Man, he's going to inherit. We will inherit wealth. We will inherit love. We will have our treasuries filled to the capacity of what God means by that. He blesses you. Now we're on mission. We're living on mission, but God blesses his children and those who seek wisdom. Look, any blessing from God is a beautiful blessing, and it is the best blessing when it comes from God. Now, pivoting on verse 22 and onward, I think till verse 31, it talks about how wisdom was in the beginning, and it talks about wisdom is Jesus, is what it gets at here. So verse 22, the Lord formed me from the beginning. Again, it's when it says me, it's talking about wisdom. Before he created anything else, I was appointed in ages past, at the very first, before the earth began. He's saying right here, wisdom is saying, I was here before the beginning. And we're going to keep reading it. It reveals that it is Jesus. Now, I was born before the oceans were created, before the springs bubbled forth their waters, before the mountains were formed, before the hills I was born, before he had made the earth and fields and the first handfuls of soil. I was there when he established the heavens, when he drew the horizons on the ocean. I was there when he set the clouds above, when he established springs deep in the earth. I was there when he set the limits of the sea so they would not spread beyond their boundaries. And when he marked off earth's foundations, I was the architect at his side. I was his constant delight, rejoicing always in his presence. Sounds pretty familiar, right? This sounds like Genesis right here. And we see in John 1:1, it says that God created the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. We see in the beginning that Jesus was at creation with God. It's a part of the Holy Trinity that is honestly very complex and hard for us to understand and to really comprehend. But it is telling us right here that wisdom was there at the beginning. Jesus' wisdom. If you need any sort of wisdom, turn to Matthew 5 and go check out the Sermon on the Mount, because Jesus spits some bars there. It's so sick. Now we're going to continue on. Verse 31. And how happy I was with the world he created, how I rejoiced with the human family. Again, that is wrapping up how wisdom was there at the beginning. Now continuing on, verses 32 to 35, it says, and so my children, listen to me, for all who follow my ways are joyful. Listen to my instruction and be wise. Don't ignore it. Joyful are those who listen to me, watching for me daily at my gates, waiting for me outside my home. For whoever finds me finds life and receives favor from the Lord. Man, I love verse 33. Listen to my instructions and be wise. Verse 32, it says, for all who follow my ways are joyful. Bro, let's be joyful. Wisdom produces the fruits of the spirits. And it says, man, I just love it so much. Joyful are those who listen to me. Joyful are those who listen to wisdom. Joyful are those who listen to the words of Jesus. Jesus, who is God. And continuing on, verse 36, he says, but those who miss me injure themselves. All who hate me love death. For those that are going to see wisdom and turn their back on it, for those who are going to see and hear about Jesus and turn their back on him, man, they're going to injure themselves and they're on their way to death. And that's a shame. And that should break our hearts as believers, that there are people who who come face to face with the gospel and it just doesn't click with them. But that shouldn't discourage us. But we should just continue to live on mission for Jesus Christ and spreading his name, but not just verbally talking about Jesus, but by showing the world unconditional love that Jesus is. Because I firmly believe actions speak louder than words. It's such a cliche saying, but it really is the reality, because people love to call Christians hypocrites because we talk a lot of talk, but we don't walk a lot of walk. Now, again, we're never going to be perfect. That's not the nature of it. But we can love and we can have unconditional love, because at the end of the day, Jesus Christ lived and died for you, but he just didn't die. He went through the worst death in human history, and then he resurrected once and for all, defeating death. And that display of love is unconditional love. And so we can unconditionally love the world, especially for those who miss wisdom and hate wisdom, who love death. Those people can be changed. Now, it's going to be Jesus who changes them, but we can be the planters, planting the seeds in those. And maybe one of us is going to be the sunshine on the seed that's planted by someone else. Maybe someone's going to be the water being poured on that seed with the sunlight. And then all of a sudden, we're going to see a flower bloom. We're going to see the seed bloom into a plant. And that is the power of God at work. That is how he works. So, guys, I love you guys so much. Proverbs 8 is fire. It's all about wisdom, personified wisdom. I love it. It's so easy to comprehend. And I love how it's wisdom talking to us. So again, go read Proverbs 8 right now. It's fire, and I just love it so much. Wisdom is beautiful, and guys, let's love wisdom, and let's seek it on a daily basis, diligently, loving wisdom, knowing that wisdom is Jesus. If you need some wisdom, again, just go look at Jesus, and go look at Matthew 5. The Sermon on the Mount is so good, so beautiful, guys. Proverbs 8, fire. I love you guys tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow for Proverbs 9. Have an amazing night, y'all.